Hello, everyone, and welcome to Road America. It's Murph, and I am doing a solo show, and that's why I didn't realize I was not on comm. So thank everybody in the crowd for your patience. We've got 36 laps of Horizon IndyCar Series action set to come here for you from Road America. It is just about the midpoint in the Horizon IndyCar Series. From here, we just have 4 races left: Phoenix, Chicago, Iowa, and Indianapolis. Alex Miller is your points leader, and he has been absolutely doing a dandy on this field. Alex Miller on 293 points. He's 44 markers ahead of Matt Wagner. Daniel Durazo is third. Hugo Gallo's fourth, and Jeff Heisong round out the top 5. Road America, well, it's one of the classic road courses in the United States. Built 1955. Repaved about 5 years ago, but it is a classic course. It goes through the hills of Wisconsin, the land of cheese, the land of Miller, and the land of Jacob Collins. And because of Jacob Collins, there is a very classic karting facility here as well. The circuit itself, well, it only has 2 configurations. There is the Grand Prix circuit that we're going to race today, and the motorcycle circuit, which has a detour before the kink, so the bikes don't have to take that fearsome corner flat out as they normally would. The track record here, it is held by none other than Alex Zanardi. Zanardi lapped it minute 41.874 in 1998. The IndyCar track record, Will Power minute 42.892. The Champ Car record minute 44.133. That's Sebastian Bourdais, 2006. The IMSA GTP record, 1 minute 48.944, and that was set way back in 1992 by Juan Manuel Fangio II in an Eagle Mark III. So how about that, ladies and gentlemen? It is a fast and fearsome course, 13 corners. The most famous of which, I've talked about one, that would be the kink. Canada Corner, turn 12, Thunder Valley, goes up to the Bill Mitchell Bend in 13th. You'll also hear me use terms like carousel, that is turns 9 and 10. The kink is turn 11. Hurry Downs is the downhill section leading toward turn number 8. That is one of the best passing spots, as is the Moraine Sweep, which is the gentle left-hander that leads into turn number 5, which is a hard 90-degree left. This track does have a ton of elevation change, and you're going to see that tonight. During this event, we'll go on board with some of these drivers, and we'll let you see exactly how much up and downhill you go here at Road America. It can be very difficult to ride this track, even on a bicycle, and so just to kind of let you guys know that, with a minute 40 left in the session, let's go ahead and show the times. As they stand right now, Craig Forsyth is your provisional pole sitter, minute 43.888. Micah Mixer second. No surprise, Micah Mixer was a finalist in the in the Sim Gaming Expo GT Challenge. So noted road racer there. Frank Wynn, Gary Lovren right now on row 2. Lith Fox, Louis Busa the third, row 3. Hugo Gallos, Chris Stouffer, Kyle Clinworth looking to get some road racing experience. He is 9th, and Turner Johnson rounds out your top 10. Alex Miller, well, he did not set a time. Matt Wagner, Hunter Ingrave, Joseph Morales, and Mike Rigney do not appear as though they will set a time either. That could be a strategy move here, race fans. It is an interesting race distance from a fuel standpoint. You can go as little as 12 to 13 laps. Is anybody going to be able to try to stretch it into a one-stopper? That would be a heroic fuel save. It is a road course, and so we do not anticipate having full course yellows as we get 25 seconds and counting down here. It is worth noting, Durazo, Wagner, Engrave, Morales, and Rigney did not set a time. Alex Miller just went to the top of the board, 143.183, and that is just short of Will Power's IndyCar track record. And you see the average speed, 139 miles an hour. This is going to be a quick one as we head off to get the starting grid. Do want to thank everybody for joining in on the P1 Broadcasting Network this evening. Ryan Eric King is off in Viva la France on assignment from Jalopnik, and so he is not here with us. It's just Murph in the booth. If you guys out in the chat have anything you'd like to ask, point out, discuss, please feel free to send it on in. Do want to thank Dirty Quai for being active in the chat. As for the starting grid, it is Alex Miller from Craig Forsyth. They're on row number 1. Micah Mixer, Frank Wynn. They'll go from the second row. In the third row, you're going to have, in the third row, Gary Lovern and Louis Busa start 5th and 6th. Lith Fox, Hugo Gallas, Christopher, and Kyle Clinworth. Great run for Clindy. He is going to roll from 10th. In 11th, Turner Johnson, Yari Brubaker. 12th, Nate Fields is 13th. Hunter Ingrav begins the cars that did not set a qualifying time. Hunter Ingrav, Daniel Durazo, Matt Wagner, Mike Rigney, and Joseph Morales will line them up based on their iRating, and this is going to be an interesting night. As I was saying earlier, the race distance, 36 laps. That's an interesting. It's an interesting distance in terms of fuel economy. As you can see, iRacing is going to line these cars up on what we would term to be the backstretch. It's the run down from the Kink to Canada Corner, and the reason that they do this is the parade lap here at Road America is extremely long. The track 4 miles in distance. It can take 3 to 4 minutes to do a lap under caution here, and so iRacing cuts us a solid, and they're gonna have the field line up on the backstretch. 200 seconds of push to pass is in effect here, and we do have a mix of drivers choosing to start on the black alternate or on the black primary tires versus the red sidewalled alternate Firestones, and that's something that we're going to keep track of. Which are the preferred tires? The reds or the blacks? Usually here, it is the black tires, the primary tires that are preferred, but this is a custom fixed setup race, and so we'll see what the setup builders have in store for us as we roll away, riding along on the back of the pace car. Craig Forsyth in the familiar Forsyth Racing livery. He is going to be the outside pole sitter. Alex Miller has the pole. The pace car is getting ready to turn that beautiful BMW to the right when they get to the top of the hill. He'll head down the pit lane, up the hill, and we are set and ready for 36 laps of Horizon IndyCar action. The green flag is out and the race is underway. Alex Miller gets the jump on Craig Forsyth. Micah Mixer moves to the inside of Forsyth as they head down toward turn number 1. Micah Mixer, great run to the inside. He's going to have positional advantage here going through the first couple of corners. If Forsyth can hang tight, he may have a chance, but he does not. He'll see the position. Craig is going to go back to third. A little bit deeper in the field, Gary Lovern looks to do battle with Chris Stouffer, and that's Lovern following Lith Fox. The red VRL machine goes through, and now Chris Stouffer, he's going to look to the inside of Gary Lovern as they head down toward turn 5. Stouffer makes the move, and immediately there to pounce. Immediately there to pounce is Hugo Gallas. Everyone safely through the first several corners here. Down through the carousel they come. This is a very, very fearsome corner. 3rd and 4th gear, depending on how you want to run it. That sets you up to get into turn number 11, which is the kink. They're going through there now. I was at the race in 2006 when Catherine Legg had an absolutely horrific crash in that part of the course. The rear wing folded up. Catherine went off into the forest. Thankfully, she walked away from that. Jaunt. And then my personal unfavorite here, the Bill Mitchell Bend, 13. You head down to turn 14. It is 14 turns here at Road America, and just like that, that is a lap. We'll hop on board with Micah Mixer as he gives chase to Alex Miller And this is what a lap here at Road America looks like. Hard on the power, all the way up the hill, 180 some odd miles an hour. Down to second gear for turn 1. Hard on the gas again. There is a turn 2 in there, although it's really a straight. Turn 3. And then this might be the best passing zone on the course right here. If you can line a guy up and get a good bit of draft going down through this, that would be turn number 4. But approaching turn number 5, you can really make a move here. Alex Miller, a little bit of lockup. Turn number 6 is very difficult to judge because it is blind. The apex is blind. You have to turn in before you can see the corner. And then this corner tends to unload a little bit. Turn number 7 on cold tires, so you want to be mindful of that. This is a very popular spectator spot at the bottom of Hurry Downs, turn number 8. Into the carousel we go, and listen to Alex Miller, Micah Mixer feather the throttle going through the carousel down toward the kink, flat out, 6th gear, 170 miles an hour, and then you're on the throttle for what seems like forever to get through Kettle Bottoms to get toward Canada Corner, turn number 12. Hard on the brakes, right-hander, through Thunder Valley, and then you start to go back up the hill. There is a lot of elevation change. The bottom of the track, Kettle Bottoms, the very top is the top of the front straightaway. I forgot to look it up, but this track has an enormous amount of elevation change. This right here is almost difficult to ride a bicycle up in terms of going around the track, but that is a lap here at Road America. Frank Wynn has just gone purple. Frank Wynn is in 4th place in the Japan Candy Store machine. He follows Craig Forsyth, Micah Mixer, and Alex Miller. They are your top 4. Back in the pack a little bit, man on a little bit of a mission. That would be Christopher. He has now caught Lith Fox, and Christopher has been all over that push-to-pass button. Stouffer's used up 42 seconds of his push-to-pass trying to find his way around Lith Fox. I would suspect that the Fox is a little bit quicker than Louis Busa III in front of these two. As we hop on board Lith Fox, looking toward Louis Busa III. But this is the best battle on the course. 3 cars all within roughly a second of one another. Further back in the field, you're going to have Hunter Ingraf, and there's Hunter. He is one of the better road racers in the field. He's going to be looking at the back of Turner Johnson, Gary Lovern, Hugo Gallas, and Yari Brubaker giving chase. And then way out back, you got Matt Wagner, who started from the pit lane here. He started from the pit lane here, and the reason that Wagner did so, he's been having a lot of computer issues today, and I think he just kind of wanted to stay out of the way. It is, I tell you what, Finn Fershot, I've done it, and it is a mountain bike first gear, and you've really got to work at it. Made more difficult for me. We sat in turn 8, so we had to basically ride around the entire track before we got there. Paula Clinworth, welcome to you, Paula. Thank you so much for the banana bread in Chicago, by the way. Paula Clinworth keeping us fed. And I'll tell you what, Nate Fields looking on Yari Brubaker. There are battles throughout the pack. The best one continues to be the Lith Fox, Louis Busa. Lith Fox has gotten past Louis Busa, and here comes Christopher. Down the inside, we head toward turn 5. Cannot quite make the move. Stouffer going to get through, and so he is now past Busa. Moves Stouffer to 6th, Busa to 7th in that City Chevrolet machine. Stouffer will now give chase after Lith Fox, and behind them, there is the great one, Kyle Clinworth, winner in the big top split race Tuesday night at Texas, last night at Texas, over Seb Alexander and myself, Clindy. Again, looking just to continue to get more experience on these road courses. He's not somebody who does a ton of road racing. 1782 in the iRating department on the road courses, which is above average. But when you think about how good a driver Clindy is on an oval, he is most assuredly going to want to try to get better on the road courses. And there he goes through Canada Corner. We'll jump on board with Clindy. Do want to thank everybody. I've been chasing audio issues throughout the. I've been chasing some audio issues throughout the broadcast. Hopefully, everybody was able to hear me. Hopefully, everybody was able to hear me there. We are watching Kyle Clinworth. He is running in the 8th spot. Can somebody just let me know if I was being heard that entire time? We've got Alex Miller as your leader. Next best battle on the course is Hunter Ingraf. He's working on Turner Johnson in that Rogue Racing entry for Hunter Ingraf. Turner Johnson, of course, a member of the Votive Racing League team. Ingraf 10th, Turner Johnson is 9th as they run it on the course, headed down toward Canada Corner. Ingraf has been about 2 to 3 tenths of a second quicker than Turner Johnson. It's worth noting, though, that Clindy has begun to pull away a little bit from this group, and so do want to note that. Do want to thank everybody for joining us. Do want to thank the people in the audience for putting up with my audio issues. Sometimes when you're by yourself, you don't necessarily know that you're muted. You don't have the second person watching the broadcast in the background to let you know. We are working lap 6 of 36 here in the Horizon IndyCar Series. Watching Hunter Ingraf as he attempts to chase down Turner Johnson. That battle has cooled just a little bit. We're going to head back toward Louis Busa, the third, who is closing back on the car of Chris Stouffer. And to look at Busa, and we'll jump on board with him. One of the things that you'll see, and I think it's kind of a neat bit of iRacing kit, is that it used to be you would go off and you wouldn't see anything, it wouldn't do anything. Now it kicks up the grass and the gravel and all that stuff on the course. And when you go through an area that's got the grass and the gravel on it, there is a difference in grip level between the clean areas of the track and the dirty ones. And so that's something to kind of watch. As you see guys kicking up grass and dirt and stuff on the course, that does affect the drivers, especially at corner exit, like right there at Canada Corner. The car is naturally very light there. And if somebody's strewn gravel all over the exit of the corner, it can make getting through there pretty precarious at times. And so do keep an eye on that. Louis Busa, though, trying to chase down Chris Stouffer. Stouffer has been all over that push-to-pass button. And there's Chris Stouffer in the 40 Racewear machine, teammate to Craig Forsyth. Great night for that team, 3rd and 6th as they run. But Stouffer has used up 80 seconds of his push-to-pass. And so just kind of note, we'll go ahead and pull that up here. Chris Stouffer has been all over that button, and he has used more than a third of it already, and we are barely at the quarter distance pole. And so we're not even in the quarter distance pole yet. Chris Stouffer could be in trouble a little bit later on in this race. Indy Kirkenbauer checking in. Good to see Indy. Great racing with you last night at Texas. You're still in learning how to turn right? Me too, brother. Me too. That's why I'm in the booth. That's why one of the reasons I migrated to the booth, actually. Road racing is not my forte as we watch Stouffer and Louis Busa battle here. Alex Miller, don't want to cut him short, and we'll get up to the leader. Micah Mixer has been a little bit quicker. He's reeled him in just a little bit, down to half, anywhere between half and 0.6 of a second. Do want to point out that that this race can turn into a fuel save. The fuel window here is anywhere between 13 and 16 laps. I've seen some of the better fuel savers make a lap additional on that, maybe 16, but really 13 to 15 is the furthest you can go. The primary black tires should be the preferred tire, so you're going to want to go as long as you can on your two black stints, and then you want to go as short as possible on the reds. And usually what drivers will do here is they're going to start, they're going to go primary, and then alternate to end. The other way is primary to begin, get off of them as soon as you can, and then run the primary sidewall black tires to the end. That is not the preferred strategy, though, because you kind of lose control of it. You kind of lose control of your fuel destiny, and you're not able to really. You're not really, if you go the primaries first. Not only you're not in control of your fuel destiny, but you're not able to You're not able to account for variable change later. Do want to point out that that Alex Miller has now caught Matt Wagner. That is the number 6 Horizon IndyCar Series machine ahead of Alex Miller, and Matty Wagner is due to go a lap down here at lap. We'll see if he makes it to lap 9. We're working lap 8. Shout out to Pamela Ingrab for joining us. She's here cheering for Hunter. And I agree. Road America, Finn, it is a good track to learn road racing on because it's very fast. It's very free-flowing. There aren't a lot of technical portions to it. And so even if you're not the best of road racers, you're able to stay fairly competitive here. Do want to point out Frank Wynn has now pulled right up on the rear wing. Micah Mixer drops back a little bit from Alex Miller, still in the draft. Frankie Wynn has pulled right up on the back of Craig Forsyth, and this may be a situation, and let's jump on board with Frank Wynn and see what we can see, hear what we can hear, looking out the right eyeball of the Japan Candy Store driver as he pulls up on Craig Forsyth. And there's the telltale lift. So Frank Wynn is in the process of saving every bit of petrol or every bit of ethanol that he can save, trying to extend the life of these black sidewall primary tires. It's worth noting Forsyth on the reds, he's going to be going as absolutely as hard as possible, and we would be looking for Craig Forsyth to make his pit stop really any time now to get off of those tires. Forsyth, of course, started second, but he has given up nearly 2 seconds a lap. And the great news for Frank Wynn, if you look off the gearbox, there's nobody back there. Lith Fox 3 seconds behind the Japan Candy Store machine. So we head up toward Canada Corner. Forsyth just about to put a lap on Matty Wagner. And there goes Forsyth, just as advertised. This would mean he's going to have to do he's going to have to do 2 13-lap runs on the primary tires, and that would be 2 laps at full tilt. So Forsyth is off, and he is getting rid of the alternate tires. Also on pit lane, Turner Johnson is making his stop. Do want to point out that the other cars on the primary or on the alternate tires to start the race, Mike Rigney, the Onyx Racing League impresario. There he is in his vintage-looking Dallara butt kicker on the side of that machine. Mike Rigney run along now in 12th spot. Louis Busa is making his pit stop. He is going to exchange his primaries for another set of tires, but really It's interesting to see Forsyth pull that strategy. Usually, he is one that loves to save fuel right off the bat as we work lap 10. Micah Mixer has pulled back into the draft of Alex Miller, and there's the two leaders. Do want to point out that Hunter Ingrav all over the back of Rogue Racing teammate Kyle Clinworth. They currently run 6th and 7th, and Ingrav looks like he is desperate to get by, and those two are catching Christopher. Ingrav is going to go to the outside, what would be the outside, headed toward Canada Corner. Clindy is going to let him have the spot. Those two have worked their way past Gary Lovern, and they have caught a fading Christopher. Christopher, his last time through, a minute 47.2. Hunter Ingrav, minute 46.8. So they are rapidly catching Stouffer, and what's worse for Stouffer, he's gone through nearly half of his push to pass already. Do want to give a warm welcome to David Warmoth in the chat. Again, chat is encouraged this evening, especially I'm by myself. So if you guys have anybody that you'd like to see, anything you'd like to talk about, by all means, put it in the chat and we will discuss. But good to have you, David. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the P1 Broadcasting channel. We have a ton of racing action upcoming for you. It's the Horizon IndyCar Series tonight, tomorrow, the AMA Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series. We're going to go live with a pre-race at 8:20. That's Sam Crow and I. The race at 8:35, the Charlotte Roval. And then we're back for the Premier Series in the AMA, the Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. That's going to happen on Friday. No racing on Saturday. No racing here on Saturday. Sunday, the Dark Horse IndyCar Series finale presented by the Joy of Driving. That's going to be a ton of fun. Indianapolis 100 laps. We'll do that at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard. And then Monday night, that brings us full circle. The past, the present, and the future of IndyCar collide on the P1 Broadcasting channel, starting with the Indy Open Series at 8, followed immediately thereafter by the Onyx Racing League and the Lotus 79s. And we're going to end at 10:30 with the we're going to end at 10:30 with the Indy Next Series. So keep your eyes open on Monday night. Tuesday, of course, the flagship broadcast, followed immediately thereafter by Indy Lights. That starts at 8:15. Dirty Quiet wants to know, he doesn't get where to use push to pass. So there's two schools of thought. The first is that you will see drivers use it as just a burst coming off the corner. So they'll touch it coming off, run it for a second or two, and they'll run it for a second or two, and then pop it back off. And they'll use it like that throughout the race. The theory goes is that you're distributing the extra horsepower in the areas where you need it most, and it helps you get the ultimate lap time, lap over lap. That's one school of thought. The second school of thought is use it to actually make passes, which Christopher was doing earlier. So you come off a corner, let's say you're coming off of the carousel, you can get on to push the passes. Hunter Ingrav dives to the inside. Hunter Ingrav locks up the front wheels to avoid Christopher in turn number 8, and they'll head round the carousel. Ingrav is going to have set up that move at Canada Corner, but you can get on that button right here, and you can ride that. You can ride that thing all the way down to Canada Corner and be on it for 10, 15 seconds. So two different schools of thought. I never use it, Dirty Quiet, because I'm not fast enough. They'll charge up the hill one more time. Now, these guys that started on the primary tires, they're working lap 14, so they are now well within their window to come to pit road and exchange for either the alternates, the primary or the alternate red tires, or the primary blacks. It's worth noting. It's worth noting that of those who changed, nobody went on to the alternate tires. Everybody chose to go with the primary black sidewall tires, which to me indicates that these guys are saving for the end. It was quite a dive, and I think Hunter made the front Firestones mad, so he's going to back them off and re-rack this thing a little bit. But that's not really a place where you're going to want to make a move. It is a passing zone. I tend to like making the passes at Canada Corner, but Ingrav, now he's settled in behind Stouffer, and he may be saving fuel. If you heard him come off the power just that much, he might be saving fuel. The longer you can go on the primary stints, the better it's going to be for the end on the alternates. And the reason for that is the alternate tires really give up after about 5 laps. So really, they're only good for about 5 here at Road America, just because of the high speeds. Ingrav looks inside, he looks outside, he falls back in line behind Chris Stouffer. This is the race for 5th, 6th, and Clindy is joined in 7th, and not too far back, you've got Gary Lovern in 8th, as I think I have temporarily lost the signal. There it comes back. Ryan O'Donoghue has joined us as Chris Stouffer is going to come in, get off of his tires, as is Kyle Clinworth, and that is going to leave 2 cars out. Frank Wynn and Hunter Ingrav have played champion balloon foot. There is Frankie Wynn in the Japan Candy Store machine. But Frank Wynn and Hunter Ingrav have gone the longest. Hugo Gallas in the number 57. There he is, the blue and silver Votive Racing League machine, the familiar number 57 for Hugo Gallas. But there's Hugo, and he continues to circulate. He is now up to 3rd. Huge advantage for these cars that are able to stay out this extra lap. Micah Mixer, too fast exiting pit lane, and Micah Mixer is going to have to come back and serve a penalty here very shortly. So a tough break for Micah Mixer, because he is pulled right back to the rear wing of provisional leader Alex Miller. Miller will reassume the lead once these three pit in. It's worth noting that Miller is only about 26 seconds behind, and so we'll see where Frankie Wynn comes out. We're anticipating his pit stop this time through. As we roll through turn 14, Frank Wynn, is he going to come in this time? There's the dive down the pit lane, and that's a great shot to show the fans exactly what kind of elevation change we're looking at. Ryan O'Donoghue says the new Roval is going to be interesting. Any road race to me is interesting because I'm not very good at it, admittedly, and so I can make a bad road race look good just because I'm not good at it. Do want to point out Hunter Ingrav has gone for one more, so this is now exceeding expectations for Hunter Ingrav in that rogue racing machine. Ingrav continues to move forward. Micah Mixer has come to serve his penalty. Welcome to Shane Coker, huge Hugo fan. I'm a huge Hugo fan too, man. Hugo Gallas is one of my favorite drivers. The Chilean, former teammate of mine on the Altena Autosport Velocity Online racing team. He's a really good guy, and so there you have it. If Frank Wynn was sputtering on pit lane, interested to see what Hunter Ingrav does here, because Ingrav has will have gone 15 full circuits to make it. Is he going to be able to get back to the pit lane? Because if he is, he was able to gain 2 laps of not having to be on the Firestone Reds at the end of this race. And we saw what that did to the pace of Craig Forsyth. He was losing a second a lap after about 5 laps. And so Hunter Ingrav, by being able to stay out, and his lap times remained very good. His last lap was actually his fastest of the race, minute 44.710. That's not altogether all that different than Alex Miller's best lap, but Ingrav going to pull it into the pit lane this time. And with that, Alex Miller is going to flash through Kettle Bottoms And he will reassume the lead as he comes around turn 14. Up the Road America straight, he'll climb the hill. Ingrav is not yet to his pit box. And Alex Miller will flash back into the lead. There he goes. Ingrav now gets service. You see him in the background. Alex Miller, because of the penalty to Micah Mixer, has now been staked to a 7-second lead, 7.3 seconds over this man, Craig Forsyth. Forsyth in the familiar players livery, run for so many years by Forsyth Racing, 4D Racewear on the side of that machine for Craig Forsyth. He is second, and then you've got about 3 seconds back to this duo. It's a friendly one, Lithfox and Frank Wynn. As they do, they have found each other on the course. Lithfox is third. We'll jump on the roll hoop for Lithfox as he makes his way through turn 5. Up the hill into turn number 6. Back down through turn number 7. And down the hill through Hurry Downs. This is a wonderful place. If you've never been to Road America, this is a wonderful place to watch the race from. This is where I sit when I come here. Just the specter of waking up in the morning with your camper parked right against that cement barrier there, and hearing the cars scream through the forest, arrive at where you're at, and hearing the downshifts, boom, 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 is an amazing Friday morning wake-up call. Do want to thank everybody for joining us here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. You are watching the Horizon IndyCar Series presented by The Joy of Driving. We're looking at Lithfox and Frank Wynn, the two buddies, third and fourth. Alex Miller leads at 7.7 seconds over Craig Forsyth, and you can see Forsyth just off in the distance, depending on the camera angle. Hunter Ingrav has moved to fifth. He is about 5 seconds behind this battle, and there's Hunter. But remember, Ingrav, he went quite a bit longer on his opening stint. 15 laps compared to 13 or 14 for most everybody else in the field. And so Hunter Ingrav may have a large tire advantage when it comes down to the end of this thing. Chris Stouffer is 5 seconds behind Ingrav, and Stouffer is part of what I would term to be the best battle on the course. There is Stouffer in sixth. Kyle Clinworth is seventh, and Clindy is hanging on to the back of Stouffer. Both of those drivers have now used up quite a bit of their push to pass. 105 seconds remain for Stouffer, 133 for Clindy, a man who has not touched, as they navigate past Matt Wagner, man who has not touched his push to pass. Gary Lovern just got passed by the penalized Micah Mixer. So Mixer back on the track. He'd been running second when he got the speeding ticket, had to come back to the pit lane. That dropped him back to 10th. He has navigated past Louis Busa, the third, and now Gary Lovern, and there's Busa. Turner Johnson in the Votive Racing League machine is 11th. There's Turner. Hugo Galaz. Hugo made the long run he made the long run earlier, 1 lap short of Ingrav, but still 1 lap longer than everybody else. Gallows runs along in 12th. Veteran Yari Brubaker in the familiar 89. He is 13th. He's followed by the Track Rocket machine of Daniel the Cat Durazo. Durazo sporting a new scheme this weekend. There he is in the 2 car. Daniel the Cat is 14th. Mike Rigney runs along in the butt kicker special. He is 15th. Nate Fields is 16th, and there's Nate. He's I almost wanted to say he had the bluey colors on, but that's not bluey. We'll see if we can't identify what it says on the side, but it's a little bit too much of an angle. But there's Nate Fields and Matt Wagner a lap down. Again, experiencing some PC issues, and I think he's just running along, trying to stay out of the way. Those are the 17 cars in this race. We'll go back to Stouffer and Clinworth as they run. Micah Mixer is a couple of seconds behind this battle. For David out there, yes and no. The ovals definitely are more exciting as we get to halfway here. They can be more exciting from a viewer standpoint, just in terms of, I think, the eye candy of it. Stouffer off. That's going to allow Clinworth to flash past, move Clindy to 6th, Stouffer to 7th, and Stouffer now is going to have to worry about a charging Micah Mixer, who is coming in 8th. Mixer has been lap over lap about a second quicker than Stouffer and Clindy, and so it's not going to be much longer before Micah Mixer gets into this battle. Stouffer looks to the inside of Clindy in the Canada corner and thinks better of it. But road racing is much more cerebral. It's a lot more about strategy. When do you stop? When do you select what tires? What's the story of the race from a broadcaster's perspective? Right now, the story of this race is, one, can Hunter Ingrav turn that huge advantage that he's got on tires? For example, he's got a lap on Wynn, 2 laps on Lith Fox and Alex Miller. Stouffer goes back around Clinworth, and so they'll swap 6th and 7th one more time. I have a suspicion that's going to be 7th and 8th pretty shortly, because Micah Mixer is most definitely coming. And there's Mixer as he attaches himself to the back of this duel. But it's a different, I guess it's a different form of excitement, in that it's very much a thinking challenge. You have to follow the race, but we want to keep an eye on those stories, right? Micah Mixer's charged back to the field, and what's Hunter Ingrav going to do on the Reds when he does not have to worry at the end about abusing those tires? Meanwhile, Micah Mixer all over the back of Kyle Clinworth here, and it's not going to be long before he makes that move. Do want to thank everybody for tuning into the P1 Broadcasting channel. You've got Murph. I am solo Ryan King on assignment for Jalopnik in the old Paris. He is in France currently, and so he has been excused from broadcasting duties this evening. You saw Micah Mixer go through Kyle Clinworth. He has now made it past Chris Stouffer, and so moved Mixer back into the 6th spot. He is now 9 seconds in arrears of this man, Hunter Ingrav, and Ingrav has been catching Frankie Wynn. He has been catching Frankie Wynn to the tune of about 0.6 a lap. And so I would anticipate Ingrav to be within the draft envelope of Frank Wynn here before too much longer, and that's only going to help him save some more fuel. Frank Wynn has lost the back of Lith Fox. There you see it as they go through the gravel. Somebody's been littering down there in turn number 8. But Frank Wynn and Lith Fox have become separated a little bit. There's 1.3 seconds between them. The draft envelope in these cars on road courses is anywhere between 1.3 and 1.8 seconds. And so if Wynn loses the draft of his good friend Lith Fox, he may be in for a quick retreat back toward Hunter Ingrav. Do want to point out that Clindy and Stouffer continue to battle. They've swapped that spot one more time. Clinworth now ahead of Stouffer. This is the battle for 7th and 8th, and it is the closest one on the racetrack. These are the only 2 cars really that are in close contact with one another. There's Clindy continuing now to lead Chris Stouffer. Clinworth is 7th. Stouffer is 8th. Mixer has made it back into the 6th spot. But he is not really making the kind of headway on Hunter Ingrav that that had been made on other cars. He's now gotten toward the sharp end of the grid. Most of these drivers in here, they're doing anywhere between a minute 45, minute 45 5 and a minute 45.7, all the way up to the leader Alex Miller, who just ran a minute 46 flat. Let's cut back into Alex Miller. He leads it by 7 seconds, and we'll jump on board and just listen a minute to Alex Miller, just to kind of get a feel for what it's like to do a lap as the leader here at Road America. And I get the sentiment, David, for Alex Miller right now. It's very much almost like a practice session. There is nobody around him on the course, but I'm interested to see if he is saving any fuel. Not doing so there, Alex Miller, continuing to circulate his last lap, minute 45.9. Minute 45.9 for Forsythe. Lithfox is just a little bit faster than Forsythe, minute 45.6. And so he is catching just a little bit. Do note that we've been informed that the teammates at Mariah United, that would be Frank Wynn and Lithfox, are on a little bit of a different fuel strategy. Lith didn't have the slipstream as is reported in the first stint, and so he had to stop a lap earlier, so he's decided to go a little bit harder here. Meanwhile, Frank Wynn, who has now completely lost the draft from Lithfox, but Frank Wynn is a lap to the good on fuel from Lith. But that has been most of a lap from your leader, Alex Miller. Let's get back, because we're about to have a fight between Frankie Wynn in the Japan Candy Stand machine, or Japan Candy Store machine. I want to keep calling it Candy Stand, and I know I shouldn't, and that's because if anybody remembers the old candystand.com website with, I wonder if that's still there. We used to be able to play the games with the games with the candy. It is sadly not there. I just dated myself by trying to go to candystand.com, but that used to be a fun website. Lifesavers, Smarties, all sorts of games that you could play with candy, miniature golf, and so forth. It might be an app now, I don't know. But Hunter Ingrav has now pulled within a second of Frank Wynn here at Road America, and the car that you see just at the top of the picture, that would be Lithfox running along in third. But it's going to be a matter of time now before Ingrav catches him, simply because Frank Wynn does not have any draft. He does not have the benefit of the draft in front of him, and Ingrav does. And so Hunter Ingrav is going to start reeling in Frankie Wynn down these long straights, just basically by default. He doesn't even have to try to do it. And that means that Ingrav is going to be able to save an enormous amount of fuel here toward the end of this fuel run. And he already has a lap in hand over Wynn and 2 laps in hand over Miller and Fox. Craig Forsythe is on a completely different strategy in second. Here is Craig, and we bring that up because he ran the alternate tires first, the red alternates first. So Craig Forsythe, with 13 laps to go, and it is time to get that, we'll see 13 laps to go this time. It's time to flip the marker. I would expect Forsythe to be coming in at nearly any time for his second set of primaries and be good to the end of this race. 13 laps is right at what you can do on a tank of fuel full rich. And so we'll see if Forsythe elects to come down the pit lane this time. See if he comes down the pit lane this time, and then we'll swap back to the Ingrav Frankie Wynn battle. And indeed, Forsythe is going to come grab his final set of alternates, and we jump on board. And now there's Hunter Ingrav, and he is running down Frank Wynn. It is now under a half a second. Cue the Jaws music. Hunter Ingrav is coming for that final spot on the podium, provisionally. Do want to thank everybody for joining us here on the P1 Broadcasting Channel. It is Murph Solo. Ryan Eric King is on assignment with Jalopnik in Vive la France in Paris. And so, just me tonight. We are watching the Horizon IndyCar Series live from Road America with 4 rounds to go. This could prove to be a pivotal race in the championship. Alex Miller with a nice advantage over Matty Wagner. Wagner not having the best of days. He has made up 1 spot. Mike Rigney has fallen to 5 laps down and has damage. Matt Wagner has also pulled into the pit lane. There's the move. Hunter Ingrav to the inside at Canada Corner. He'll make up the spot on Frank Wynn. And Ingrav will now see if he can set sail for Lith Fox. The last time through, he was a shade slower. Keep in mind, Ingrav with the huge fuel advantage here, or the huge tire advantage here, as we get the iRacing glitch. There we come back for it. If you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1, be notified of all future iRacing events. We've got the American Motorsport Association, Blackmagic Studios, Grand National Series tomorrow at 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 green flag. The AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. That's Friday, same time. That'll be myself and Sam Crow. Ryan O'Donoghue working the crowd, drumming up the interest. It's the new Roval, Mr. O'Donoghue. It says it feels like racing in a box. There are a lot of words that I would use to describe. There are a lot of words that I would use to describe the Charlotte Roval, but the word box has not come to mind. We'll get back out and have a look at Alex Miller as he continues to circulate now some 9.5 seconds over Lith Fox. We are pending pit stops here from this lead group. Alex Miller is working lap number 12, or he will complete lap 12 of his final run, or his middle run, I should say. This time through, we would assume he will pit to get his alternate tires with 10 laps to go, or with 9 laps to go. We would anticipate that Lith Fox would stop with 8 to go. Hunter Ingrav should be stopping with 6 laps to go. And as previously noted, the alternate sidewall tires, the alternate reds, they're only good for about 5 laps. Frank Wynn has now caught the back of Hunter Ingrav. And now that Ingrav has passed Frank, I think Frankie Wynn is just, he's going to be content to ride right there in that draft and see if he can't save himself some fuel. Do want to thank everybody for your patience. One of the drawbacks of being solo and doing the day job that I do as an insurance adjuster by day is I spend a lot of time on the phone and a lot of time talking, and so it is needed to take a break every now and then to not be talking, just to save the old voice. Alex Miller is your leader currently as Lith Fox has pulled his machine onto the pit lane. As anticipated, 10 laps ago, Lith is going to come in and grab his alternate red Firestone tires. He passes the parked cars of Wagner and Rigney, and we're going to cover exactly what Lith Fox does. He also draws Micah Mixer, Kyle Clinworth, Chris Stouffer, and Gary Lovern onto the pit lane with him. And there are the reds going on for Lith Fox. So he is away. Micah Mixer trying to get into his pit lane his pit box as Lith Fox leaves. But there goes Lith, and away he goes. Tough break for Daniel the Cat Durazo. Too fast entering pit lane for the Track Rocket machine, and he is going to be serving a 40-second hold as you see Clinworth and Stouffer leave the pits. There they go. And so that leaves Alex Miller, Hunter Ingrave, Frank Wynn as the three that have not stopped. Do want to point out Craig Forsyth is on warm alternate tires, and he has made a third pit stop. And so Craig must have caught some damage there at some point in the run, but he has made an additional pit stop. And so Forsyth is now in 12th, and that is on pace with the extra stop. Hugo Gallas has made his final stop as well. He has gone with the black primary tires. But we're looking at the race right here. Hunter Ingrave is now your leader. Alex Miller has pulled it on the pit lane. Frank Wynn will go one more circuit with Ingrave. Remember, we think that those red alternate tires are only good for about 5 laps based on Craig Forsyth earlier, and then they're going to start to fall off. And so is it a situation, gang, where Hunter Ingrave has played it so that he can go absolute full bore at the end, not have to worry about shredding the reds, as we say, and get this car to the end in a good spot? Ingrave runs along in the lead. Alex Miller is finished with his service. The gap is 19 seconds between Ingrave and Miller. Ingrave is going to want to stay out as long as he can. So too does Frank Wynn, because you don't want to have the alternates on any longer than you have to at this point. There's Alex Miller as he comes around. He's got the car of Nate Fields in front of him, and that is going to help Alex Miller, believe it or not, in this whole exchange, because he's going to be able to use the draft of Nate Fields to pull him along some of these straights. And so I know Nate Fields is a slower car. I know it's a lapped car, or about to be a lapped car to the provisional leader. However, that is helping Miller in his private little battle with Hunter Ingrave. Ingrave sets the purple lap of the race, 1:44.519. The boots are going to the loud pedal for Hunter Ingrave. Meanwhile, Frank Wynn has pulled off the course. He's going to take his final service, and so now it's down to can Hunter Ingrave stretch out enough of a gap over Alex Miller in order to be able to pit and come back out in good enough shape to go full bore on a set of alternate tires that he doesn't really have to preserve, at the same time as Alex Miller's alternate tires are going away. That's going to be the story. Do want to point out Micah Mixer has moved back up in the 5th spot, but he is some 5 seconds behind Frank Wynn, and that's going to be a tall order. Those two cars have been very similar in pace. Is it going to be Ingrave or is it going to be Miller? That's the question mark with 8 laps to go. And is somebody going to make a mistake and let Lith Fox, Frank Wynn, or Micah Mixer back into this deal? Do want to point out that the private battle between Chris Stouffer and Kyle Clinworth, it still rages. Stouffer has gotten the better of Clindy now. Stouffer back to 6th, Clindy to 7th, in what would be a remarkably good run for Kyle Clinworth. Not a noted road racer, but there he is. He's following one of the best in the business in Chris Stouffer. And Clindy doing great work there in 7th spot. Meanwhile, Hunter Ingrave has pulled it into the pit lane. And so here's Ingrave. We're going to cover just exactly where he comes out in relationship to this man. Alex Miller is headed through the Bill Mitchell bend through 14 and up the Road America straight. He's going to take the lead, but the question is going to be, where is Hunter Ingrav going to come out? There's Ingrav on the pit lane. Through comes Alex Miller. He sets fast lap of the race, minute 43.413, and so they trade him. Out comes Ingrav. Is it going to be enough to stay ahead of Lith Fox? Here comes Lith. Ingrav back out onto the circuit. Now he's going to have about half a lap where those tires have absolutely no grip. And so Hunter Ingrav needs to be very careful, one, to preserve his track position, but also he wants to make sure that he does not slide off this course and run nose long into one of these concrete barriers and end his night. He is 14 seconds behind Alex Miller, and so I don't know if that is a gap that is surmountable, but we shall see for Hunter Ingrav. Either way, he's about to have a challenge from Lith Fox, because Fox on the hot alternates is coming. There's the gap. Lith Fox trying to chase down Hunter Ingrav. Ingrav now has the tires up to temperature. It was a second and a half, and now Hunter Ingrav is beginning to fade from the view of Lith Fox. It's about equidistant back to the car of Frank Wynn as they go through Canada Corner, up through the Bill Mitchell bend. We'll get around turn 14 and do this all over again, and let's have a ride with Lith Fox. You can see Lith Fox now, the dash lit up green. That means push to pass is being deployed. And you know, we kind of talked about it earlier. Fox is of the opinion that you should deploy that at the onset of power and run it down through the braking zone. He's got 112 seconds left on his push to pass. Do want to recognize that Frank Wynn with 184 seconds has a veritable mountain of push to pass. Although I think Frank Wynn is going to be using it to defend more than catch. Hunter Ingrav, 97 seconds. Alex Miller, 128. Chris Stouffer is down to 59 seconds. And Clindy, he's just about out. He's been hitting the button, 23 seconds. He is not the low man, though. Turner Johnson, 14 seconds of push to pass left as we get close to the end of the event here at Road America. There's Lith Fox, Frank Wynn in tow. Clindy and Stouffer continue to do battle. Ingrav is cutting in to the lead for Alex Miller. It's down to 13 seconds. Those two trading fast laps. They're trading fast lap after fast lap. This is going to be a hot one for Ingrav as we watch the battle between between Stouffer and Clindy. And there's Hunter Ingrav, 143.012. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a 1.8 second difference in outright pace on the last lap on Alex Miller. 0.4 quicker than Miller's fastest lap. 43 flat is hauling the mail. If you remember, we kind of talked about it. I talked about it at the beginning. The lap record here in an IndyCar is 142.892, and that was set by Will Power in 2023. If you're going 143 flat, you are 100% hauling the mail around Road America, and that gap is beginning to shrink. I don't know that he can make up 12 seconds in 5 laps, but Hunter Ingrav's certainly going to try. And speaking of trying, Clindy, he's going to give it the old college try, trying to go around the outside there of Chris Stouffer, but you got to be careful, Clindy. Power down on corner exit. is not your friend if you're not on the racetrack, and he just about looped that race car. Chris Stouffer having himself a night. He is in P6. He and Clinworth have been dueling the entire evening. Stouffer appears to have the upper hand at this point, but those two have been more or less attached to the hip. Frank Wynn has now caught Lith Fox, and the Mirai boys, they're going to do battle amongst themselves at Mirai United for that bottom step of the podium. Lith Fox currently on it. Frank Wynn, man, he wants it. Working down toward the end of the Horizon IndyCar Series round at Road America, 33 of 36 on the board. We're coming to get 3 laps to go this time. We're watching the battle between Lith Fox and Frank Wynn. Now, these are teammates, and they are battling for the bottom step of the podium. It was a clumsy pass. You're exactly right, Dirty Quai. It was kind of a clumsy pass there. But Lith Fox made the move, and he was on the hotter tires of the two. I suspect, though, that pendulum is going to swing back the other way toward Frank Wynn, just because Lith Fox has now been out. He's got 3 additional laps on those red alternate Firestones, and they do tend to start going away right about where he is, and they do slow down quite a bit lap over lap. Whereas Frank Wynn is going to hit that barrier, but he's going to hit it much later. Speaking of those barriers, Hunter Ingrave, do want to keep you posted on that. Now 11 seconds behind the leader, Alex Miller. So he's chopped 4 seconds away from the lead. He's coming, but it's just not going to quite be enough. 0.6 that last lap. Micah Mixer has moved into a solid 5th. Clindy and Christopher, they continue to engage in an all-out fight for that 6th spot. And I know that David was kind of saying earlier that oval racing is more exciting to watch than road racing. It's not necessarily that it's more exciting to watch. It's that you have to know where the battles on the racetrack are. It does get spread out, but Clindy and Stouffer have been attached at the hip for this entire race, and it has been a ton of fun to watch them, especially given that Stouffer is such a veteran of these wars. That's a Lionheart driver, Onyx Racing League driver. He runs Area 51, Dark Horse, all of the series. He has been around a really long time and is very, very good at what he does. Long-time member of that 40 Racewear team. Shout out to Jim Herrick, by the way. Jim does a lot for our community for sure. But when you talk about improving as a driver, and Clindy, he's following one of the oldest most grizzled veterans in the community, and he's doing it well. Now Frank Wynn has just gone past Lith Fox. He's going to round him up here going down into turn number 2. This is a replay of that pass, and so the two teammates will exchange spots one more time. Something of note Something of note is that they've changed the graphic model in iRacing. You can now see, if you look closely, you can now see the graining on the tires it's beginning to happen on the car of Frank Wynn. You can see it on Lith Fox as well. There's the rears and those dark patches. That's where you're starting to wear them out. Do want to point out Luis Busa and Daniel Durazo have retired. Nate Fields is on the pit lane, and he is presumably out of the race. Clindy has fallen back to over a second behind Christopher as we get the white flag. And Craig Forsyth, he's made that extra pit stop, but Forsyth is all over the back of Turner Johnson, and he's climbed his way back into the top 10. Forsyth now looking to see if he can make the move for ninth. But today has been all about a dominant performance by Alex Miller, and we'll ride with Alex for his final lap, or follow his final lap, because he most certainly deserves it. He's on the push to pass. You can't take it back to the garage with you. He misses turn 5, and almost nice hands from Alex Miller. He almost lost the car there, going through turn 5 up through 6 and 7, and he's going to make the turn down toward turn 8. Hurry downs awaits. Then the carousel, and then finally, once he's through the carousel, one more trip through Kettle Bottoms to Canada Corner, up Thunder Valley, the Bill Mitchell Bend, turn 14, and he'll be home under the famous Mission Bridge, through the kink, and Alex Miller well on his way to a well-earned victory here in the Horizon IndyCar Series at Road America, and he will most certainly pad his points lead this evening. Round Canada Corner he goes, through the Bill Mitchell Bend, turn 14, and it's going to be Alex Miller who takes the checkered flag, and he will win the Horizon IndyCar Series race at Road America. There he goes. Alex Miller has won this event. Hunter Ingrave is going to come through. He will bring home second. And the teammates at Mariah United, they're still fighting over that third spot. Lith Fox has it. Frank Wynn wants it back, but he's not going to quite get there. Coming to the line, it's going to be Lith Fox and Frank Wynn. Third and fourth. Nice run for the teammates. Micah Mixer, he's going to come home in fifth spot. And then we're going to have to wait a minute to get to Chris Stouffer. We'll jump on board. Stouffer has distanced himself 3 seconds over Clindy, but there's Stouffer. He's going to come through. Clindy around turn 14. He will bring home a fine 7th. Gary Lovern is tracking through the final corner now. He is going to bring it in 8th. Craig Forsyth, after the extra pit stop, here he comes through the Bill Mitchell Bend, turn 14, to turn it for home. And Forsyth, at one point, he had fallen in the 13th spot. Craig Forsyth has got past Turner Johnson, who goes off into the Toolies here at the end. There's Forsyth. Turner Johnson finishes behind him. Yari Brubaker will run 11th. And Hugo Gallas makes the turn for home in 12th spot. Those are your finishers tonight here at Road America. All right. For your winner, Alex Miller, he leads a podium of Hunter Ingrave and Lith Fox. Frank Wynn and Micah Mixer round out your top 5. Chris Stouffer, Kyle Clinworth, Gary Lovern, Craig Forsyth, and Turner Johnson make up the remainder of your top 10. In 11th, it is Yari Brubaker, then Hugo Gallows, Luis Busa, Nate Fields, Daniel Durazo, Matty Wagner, Mike Rigney, Joseph Morales are going to round out your field here at Road America. All right, let's get the camera on Lith Fox, and we'll see if we've got the Fox in the waiting room. Don't see him yet, and so we'll give Lith just a few moments to get back here. Do want to thank everybody for joining in on the broadcast. Thank you so much for those of you. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for the chat. It was definitely appreciated tonight. But there's Lith Fox. We are awaiting the interviews. We've got Lith Fox is third. Hunter Ingrav is second. And we're waiting to see if either one of them will come in. While we're waiting, and I don't want to keep the man waiting. How about tonight's winner, Alex Miller? Alex, you've got Murpheim solo in the P1 broadcasting booth. We sent Ryan King over to France to conquer the place, and so it's just me tonight. Tell us about your race. It almost was dominant to the point of appearing to be boring, but I can tell you from firsthand experience, Alex, winning one of these here at Road America is never boring.
I can also tell you driving the car and trying to push on reds for more than like 2 laps is also very much not boring in this car because the tires die. But yeah, I'm gonna be honest. My qualifying lap even surprised me because like I off tracked on both of my first 2 laps, so I was like, okay, I just need lap 3. I have one more lap. I just need to get a lap in. Don't off track, and somehow it's the fastest qualifying lap I turned at all throughout the practice ones I did. I don't know. But yeah, after that, my original plan for the race was actually to fuel save 14 lap tanks, which I think you saw some of the other people in the field doing. But then when Micah was on me, I was like, okay, I can't do that, so I'm at least going to get 13 and then we'll go from there. And then, sadly, me and Micah had a little kerfuffle on the pit exit. So I don't really know what happened. I pit launched the way I normally do, and I just spun the tires up and got a really bad exit. And he kind of had to go side by side with me and got a unsafe exit, which is it really sucks because I think we were going to have a really good battle. And then Hunter Engrav was scaring me there in the end. His pace was crazy. I think if he had had a better Q run, I think he would have been on me for that win.
Yeah, he was. So just the intelligence on Engrav is that he was able to do 16 laps on his
Yeah,
first
I
run, and
saw that.
so he,
I,
so he was he basically was full push with no penalty on the reds at the end.
yeah, I saw he pitted on lap 15, and I was baffled. I don't know how he managed to do that. Now I know how Jason Brophy felt in IIS at Long Beach when I pulled out a 31 lap fuel stint on the first stint, because I have no idea how Hunter did that.
You guys are far better than me, and you're far better than me at Long Beach because I would never be able to make 31 laps, regardless of fuel numbers. Just turn 31 clean laps there. So, congratulations on that. Congratulations on your win tonight, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us in the booth. As the solo guy, I'm trying to save my voice a little bit. It's starting to go. Friends, family, sponsor, shout outs. The floor is yours.
So yeah, as always, shout out to Kagaya Designs for the beautiful livery on this, the Porsche GTP and the supercar. He knocked it out of the park. Great designer, and whenever he has commissions open, if you need a livery, shoot him a message on Discord and he'll hook you up. And shout out to Taylor Mills, Olivia Hayward, Lilac Zier, Joe Mugford, kind of everyone who's helped me over the years. Clendy, Brendan Lichtenberg, all the people who have gotten me to the point where I can have a performance like that in this car on a road course. Because me, this time, like a year and a half ago, I would have finished 12th in this race. So shout out to everyone who's helped me get better in this car. Shout out Lith Fox and Frankie and all the Mirai crew for just being cool friends. And Lith got a podium tonight, so shout out to him for that. And then, as always, shout out Matt Wagner and Shane Coker for running the league. I don't Well, I don't know if Shane was doing race control tonight. It might have just been Matt. And shout out to Andrew Serwick for the sets in this league. He really good set tonight. Probably the Road America set I've driven that felt like it was going to kill me the least, which is a good thing. And then, as always, shout out to the P1 crew for putting on so many broadcasts to showcase the IndyCar community here on iRacing.
We definitely appreciate that. And thank you so much for stopping by, Alex. I didn't want to keep you waiting. Get out of here. Go celebrate. And keep going fast and having fun, buddy.
I'm going to go change clothes. I'm sweaty after that.
I believe it, my man. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Cheers. That is Alex Miller. He is the winner tonight. We're going to do him in reverse order. So let's pull Hunter Ingrav in here. Hunter, you've got Murph in the P1 broadcasting booth. I got to ask, how did you win the Champion Balloon Foot Award for the evening? How did you make 15 laps on that first stint?
I don't really understand. I just kind of lifted, and I was just kind of cruising, and yeah, just doing kind of a Sunday drive, just cruising. I just didn't want to mess up anybody's race. 'Cause this is my only race of the season I get to do in this league, so I just didn't want to 100% mess anybody up. So I was just kind of trying to stay behind, pick my moves carefully, and yeah, when I saw everybody else was starting to pit, I'm like, oh, I got still 2 more laps. So I kind of just pushed around and yeah, jumped a few people.
Well, I tell you what, man. Anytime you show up, and this is a solid league. Anytime you show up and you run in the top 5, or you stand on the podium, you've done a solid day's work. And for all you were doing, just trying to avoid people, you set the fastest lap of the race by 0.4 of a second. So be proud of that. With that said, friends, family, sponsors, shout outs. The floor is yours. I know you've got fans watching, so feel free to talk for a minute.
Oh, my mom, my dad, of course, always for watching these. My teammate Clendy, he did very well, finished P7 tonight. Everybody else, also at Rogue Racing, always phenomenal, always helped me out and everything. So thank you to them guys. The Alliance people, also for always doing a phenomenal job. Would not be very good around here if it wasn't for Sheb and Rashad for helping me. So definitely massive shout out to them guys and everything. P1 broadcast, you guys for always doing a phenomenal job, and shout out to you, Murph, for doing a nice solo, wonderful job tonight. Killer, amazing, and yeah.
I have to go get back upside down in a race car. It's might be a little bit easier than this, but I definitely appreciate the compliments, Hunter. Keep going fast, having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one, and cheers.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. That is Hunter Ingrav. He is second, and because we did it in reverse order, we're going to end with Lith Fox. Lith, you've got Murph in the P1 broadcasting booth. I got to tell you, that was fun watching you and Frankie have a battle for that third spot. Tell us about. I think you guys passed each other 2 or 3 times in the last stint, trying to decide who was going to get to run third and who was going to run fourth. Talk to us about that battle a little bit.
Yeah, so originally I was just going to kind of give it up to him because he was like way faster than me. But then last minute I was kind of like, you know what? I kind of want to put on a show. So I was just like, I want to race you. And he's like, okay. So we just raced each other. It was just us genuinely racing each other at the end.
Well, I'll tell you what,
just wanted to.
It was definitely fun.
Good.
It was definitely fun. You had your crew chief in here. You had your crew chief in here. And he kind of, I think he called one of them clumsy, and so that was fair. But it was fun to watch you guys. Was there any discussion about, hey, let's not run over each other, or was it truly a free for all?
Well, the big thing is obviously we don't want to wreck each other. Like that was definitely discussed during that last run there. Like I said originally, like going towards the last corners there. A couple laps before, I kind of was just like, I kind of feel like I should just give it up. But then when I tried to let him by, I didn't do it. And I was like, we kind of just ended up being as fast as each other. So I kind of figured that maybe we might be a little bit more on pace than we were. He got past me, though, and he just was flying. And honestly, I didn't think I was going to catch up. He had way more push to pass than I did. Unfortunately, I think I pushed him a little too hard, and I don't know. I feel a little bad that he got off track there in the middle of the course there a little bit, but honestly, it was still fun going side by side into turn one. That was I was like, he was just like, he was hoping that it was on the broadcast. So, but yeah, no, we were just having some fun there at the end because I mean, I was just not having a personally great race. Got stuck behind folks and then out of the draft, so I couldn't do our fuel save strat. So I just was driving it hard the whole time, and yeah.
Well, I tell you what, for not having a good day being on the podium, that sure cures that. Want to thank you for dropping in the booth. As always, Lith, friends, family, sponsor, shout-outs. Floor is yours.
Obviously, shout out to Frisky Frankie. Without him, I wouldn't be here, either streaming or in this race right now. Also, he's the one that got me into IndyCar in the first place, so shout out to him. Shout out to all of my viewers. Wonderful. You guys are great, supportive, super awesome. And then, of course, shout out to Matt Wagner for hosting these events, hosting this league, and, you know, of course, the broadcast team as well. You guys have been amazing.
Yeah, man. No, it's our pleasure. It's a lot of fun to watch and call these. It was really cool to meet you in Chicago as well. And keep going fast. Keep going fast and have fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one. Cheers.
All right, see you.
Yes, sir. That is Lith Fox. He is the bottom step of the podium today. And that is pretty much the conclusion of the event. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. Of course, if you haven't already done so, make sure you smash the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to P1 so that you can be notified of all future iRacing events. We do have something planned for you pretty much every day of the week. Tomorrow night, it's the Blackmagic Studios Grand National Series from the Charlotte Roval. That's going to take place at 8:20 for the pre-race, 8:35 green flag. Friday night, the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. Again, Charlotte Roval, 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 race start. Nothing Saturday. Nothing for us on the channel Saturday. Sunday, we're going to have the Dark Horse Series, DW12 Series, presented by the Joy of Driving. The finale from Indianapolis. That's going to be an absolute blast. Catch us at 8 o'clock right here on P1 to see who gets to win one of Mark's watches. Not my watches. Mark the Watchman, one of his watches. And so that'll be a fun one. Monday night, it's the past, the present, and the future of IndyCar, all right here in one night on P1. We're going to start in the present with the Indy Open Series at 8 o'clock. The past kicks off at 9:05 with the Onyx Racing League Lotus 79s, and then we're going to end it with the Indy Next Series at 10. On Tuesday, it is an 8:15 start for the IndyCar Fixed Oval Series. That's the flagship broadcast on Tuesdays, and that will be bookended by the Indy Next Series at 9:30. We do want to thank everybody for tuning in, especially tonight in the audience. You were all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate the chats, appreciate you asking the questions, appreciate your engagement. That means a lot to me, especially being solo tonight without the wreck. It's difficult to do one of these by yourself, and so when you've got engagement from the chat, it makes it a lot easier. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart. We also want to thank the people that really make it possible. The police, the fire, the military, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and the nurse that unloads you when you get there. We thank you all, and Godspeed. For everybody at P1 Broadcasting, I am Mark Murphy. Thank you so much for tuning us in, and we will see you at the next one.